Lainy Malkani.
A bit like Jeanette, really. Extremely proud of Jan for what she has produced here. For two reasons. One, because it's much needed. It's taken a long time to get this piece of work out there. And secondly, because of the great title. It just makes you, it intrigues you and makes you want to get out there and read it. And also, it identifies with all of us. Because at some point, we've all passed on our words of wisdom to either the younger generation, our cousins, and it normally comes from top down when we're not supposed to be listening, as you said. So it's a brilliant achievement on your part, but also an academic book that speaks to all of us, because there are many academic books out there that actually don't really have that kind of appeal. So, hats off to you to producing something that will be widely kind of appreciated as well. It kind of reminds me of the responsibility that we all have in some way to share our stories and to pass those stories down to people who are closest to us, so that they kind of understand where we're from, where we're coming from, what our histories are, and also to the wider community as well, because we don't live in a vacuum. We live and should share our experiences and our stories. And it's one of the reasons actually that I set up the Social History Hub, was because I felt that there wasn't enough, and I'm sure Jeanette you will know this coming from a political world, that we sort of seem to be in a generation now where loads of politicians are coming out with their biographies, and you go over to the bookshelves and you'll find their story. But what you won't find are the stories of the people that actually nurtured and created an environment for those stories to be there. And a lot of the time when you talk, and I'm sure Jan you felt this experience too, when you're speaking to these women, they actually see themselves as being particularly original or having something useful to say. But actually they do, and they give you a 3D kind of perspective of the world. And so again, I take my hat off to you for doing exactly that, because we need more books on bookshelves that tell our stories, not necessarily from a position of power, because we're not all politicians and members of the cabinet or whatever that can tell those stories, but we are ordinary people, and our stories are as valid and important, and we can tell you the nuances of what was happening behind the scenes much better than the people with lots of money for a start. We don't have that, and who are part of the establishment as well. So that was the reason I set up Social History Hub, and then I was quite passionate about telling my own story too within that context. So my family are from the Caribbean, from Guyana, and what kick-started this story for me was when my own mum passed away. So here was my learning in womanist ways kind of cut short in a way, and none of us in our family were really, we would sit down and chat, but not with a purpose in mind. And so I decided to approach the BBC and made a documentary called Sugar Saris and Green Bananas, which was all about the story of indentured Indian migrants that left India after emancipation to go and work on sugar plantations in Guyana. And I have to tell you, the response to that documentary, I'm still getting responses now from people who listen to it. One, from people who say, I had no idea that happened. And you think, actually, don't you know your own history? This is part of British history here. And also a sense of kind of belonging to a community of people that love to hear their story being told and having their story. So it's really important to tell stories like this and to pass them on to the next generation, because they last, and because they become part of the history and the dialogue of others in the future. And as I said, part of the purpose of the documentary was to kind of tell everyone this story, but also it was about my mum's story, and from this generation, the older generation, and although she wasn't African-Caribbean, she was Indo-Caribbean, Indian, of Indian origin, and she had many things to pass down, but also she had many things to share with other people as well. And I often wondered, and elements of Jan's book, I often wondered, you know, if she hadn't have migrated, what would she have achieved? She was a very intelligent woman. She had aspirations and ambitions, but that was kind of cut short when she came to this country and had to bring up her 10 children, had to work whilst they went off to further their education. And so this lifelong learning, which was really, really important, was cut short in an academic sense, but continued in a social sense, and one that continued to nurture us. So anyway, back to Jan, and thank you so much, Jan, for putting all of this effort, because I know it wasn't easy for you to put this book together and to share with us some of the amazing stories of this book. Thank you very much.